This one here takes the cake in the idea that the planes that hit the towers were CGI and not real, as this wing disappears behind the building in the background. And they pass this off as absolute 100% genuine footage, and it escaped past millions of people until somebody caught it and said, hey, look at this. And there you go. That wing is disappearing behind a building in the background. So, the other one here, this one's so many years old. As you can see them zoom in, and then the plane, because it's all pain. It's fucking pain doing this. I've forgotten more fucking about 9/11 than the masses, even the complete and total master ninja Jedis that understand about it. I've forgotten more than what the fuck they've even come up with. Is I'll definitely bring in some things that most people, I already saw, I already know, blah blah blah, and some things that some of you go, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But this is Joe's special. The bacon's included, by the way, with a short stack of pancakes. Now as they reverse the tape, there's no jet, and they go all the way back out because the jet's not there, but it was installed in the last second for when the footage zoomed in. Right here. That always bothered me as they reverse the tape, and there's no plane anywhere. This all, of course, goes to the beautiful notion of the nose in, nose out. Nose in, nose out, and then the fade to black. What really torques my jibs is that I was home that day. I got to see it, and I never forget that fade to black when this was brought up later, but the footage fades to black because they realized they didn't want the CGI screw-up of a plastic nose cone that can be hit by a goose, a geese, or a duck and wreck the plane. They didn't want that plastic part going all the way through all the steels of tons of concrete. They didn't want that to be shown, so... yeah, this one here, of course.
To be honest with you, we arrived on late Monday night and went into action on Tuesday morning.
He arrived late Monday night, September 10th.
And not until today did we get a full opportunity to work the entire site other than the spot at Church and Day to which we...
Why did you arrive the day before? That's because you were tipped off that they were going to be doing this event. That's so fucking damning. But that day on 9/11, there were planned military exercises, Global Guardian, Vigilant Guardian, and on and on and on. Those distractionary measures are put there just to let you believe that the military was conducting so many Air Force procedures and stuff that they just really didn't have their eyes on what was going to happen, on how 19 Muslims with box cutters would hijack planes. So it was just a great big, well, we made a mistake. If we didn't have all these drills going on, we would have stopped them. This here, you have to understand that you go back to the dynasty that is the New England Patriots. When they won their first Super Bowl, it couldn't be any other NFL team than the New England Patriots that won it in 2002, February 3rd, 2002, because it wouldn't fit the script that any other team that's not named Patriots wins the Super Bowl after when they dropped the towers on 9/11. You see how that works? That's so interesting because it's literally combined and intertwined with everything of an evil and nefarious nature. This one here, though, the 2004 United States presidential election with George Bush and John Kerry, of course that takes the cake because when the towers were dropped in 2001, you had an opportunity as an American citizen to bring your vote to the table. And how could you not let this man who just brought us from the brink of death and tragic and terror, how could you not re-elect this hero? How could you not re-elect him? Well, you couldn't. That's why John Kerry, a former, or excuse me, a skull and bones man, same as Bush, was put in for the fakery of, well, we're going to give you a real person to vote for. And boy, they chose him perfectly to go against Bush, with everybody now knowing that Bush was going to win anyway because he is the hero. The hero. And 3 years later, after the towers are dropped, so it couldn't be anybody else. You see how that works? This here, going back on how I started CGI planes, because basically if there weren't planes hitting the towers, there weren't a plane hitting the Pentagon. What wasn't. Just like there wasn't a plane that hit in Shanksville. So if you didn't have two planes, then you didn't have four planes. You see how that works. They made this really cool memorial. They put this great 15-ton stone. I'm sure it's got some gematria aspect to it. I didn't want to go into it. This here, someone's...
suite of officers on...
She's such a witch. Somebody somewhere has the high definition footage. I couldn't find it. But where Donald Rumsfeld himself didn't happen to be on vacation that day, didn't happen to be taking a big shit, had to run out there and get on camera and carry a body. Who knows what it is, but the interesting thing is that the high definition part that I've seen, I don't know, 100 times, he's got a smile on his face that the Cheshire Cat would be jealous of, but because the best I could find was this crappy 420K, you can't see his facial expression, which is very damning because why would you be smiling when your country was being attacked? This here, of course, the day before.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
2.3 trillion with a T.
And that was September 10th, the night before they dropped the towers. You see all the red flags in human life. You go through all these red flags, but then our view is always 20/20. Hindsight's always 20/20. We go back and we relive everything. We retrace our steps and we realize, oh, that was a red flag. Oh, fuck, that was a red flag. There's a red flag. There's a red flag. All these red flags were there. And now our hindsight's 20/20. This here.
Get ready to read all these words on this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready.
Kid.
Yes, kid. Sound it out. Get ready.
Kid.
Sound it out. Get ready.
Kid.
What word?
Kid.
Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready.
Seal.
What word?
Seal.
Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready.
Playing.
Yes, playing. Get ready.
Must.
Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready.
Kite.
Yes, kite. Get ready.
Kit.
Yes, kit. Get ready.
Steel.
Yes.
Plane hit steel, plane must. You see what the programming was there for the Bush attending the school that day? And of course it went into the I Pet Goat series. It couldn't be, these words that day couldn't be teapot, couldn't be bus, couldn't be donut, couldn't be any word in the English language that I just horribly did. Couldn't be any words but kite, hit, steel, plane, must. How does that work? Of course, the ceremony before they built the One World Trade Center, the Eye of Horus, and the ritual that had to be manifested before they erected it had to be, because their overseer, their god Lucifer, has to be worshipped. And that, regardless of anything, has to be shown to the world. This is what we're about. This is what we're going to do, and the ritual that 9/11 was is now complete. I'll end this video with talking about Building 7, as it is among a laundry list of 100 the greatest proof that 9/11 was done by the factions, I should say, done by factions of the United States government throughout. If you wanted to throw in Mossad Israel, yeah, why not? I mean, after all, they did have that whole series of floors on 9/11 that they were, the plane actually flew into. And it was a college Israel group or something. And then, of course, the dancing Israelis, all that garbage. Anyway, the penthouse falling first on Building 7 is a dead giveaway that what they tried to sell you, the snake oil, is that fire is intelligent and that it can't, or it can specifically know where to take itself to certain sequenced columns to bring it down into its own footprint within 7 seconds. So the fact that the penthouse going first proves 100% that the building was rigged, which is fine, But you have to understand they screwed up the script by saying, well, how are we gonna tell people that this was what happened? Well, that's because we can say that Larry Silverstein used his LARP, and he can say that, well, there was such a loss of life. The fireman told him. The chief of fire told him. Such a loss of life, they had to bring it down. So we're supposed to believe that that morning, whereas this was totally an organic, real event, no one knew it was going to happen. The chief of fire, the fire chief commander called Bob, who is the most elite demolition expert, happened to live at that time in Arkansas. I'm making this up. And Bob, we need you to get down here, grab all the guys you can, go to the locked up facility where the C4, the blasting caps, and get the blueprint to the Solomon Tower. It's 47 stories, almost half the size of World Trade Centers, and bring all that stuff here so that we can rig it in a world record breaking way, because instead of taking 100 to 500 men and women to rig the building over a month's time, we're going to do it in 6-7 hours. No mistakes. Every single column will be drilled into, the explosives set perfectly and timed perfectly so it comes down into its own footprint in 6 to 7 seconds. Mind you, we need you to do this within 6 to 7 hours of when the 2 original planes hit. You see how that worked?